Benevolence, dear immortals, you can call me Whimsical William. Welcome to my channel. Are you a fan of anime? Are you a fan of manga? Are you a fan of Dungeons and Dragons? Well, I got the perfect thing for you. I've only read one volume of this because I've been working so much this week, but this is Record of Lodoss War. This anime came out when I was born. I'm a little old, just a little bit. I'm at that age where I'm not ancient, but I'm no spring chicken either. But I will say that this anime is a very beautifully hand-drawn, well thought out, well-rounded, on a master level of world building. You got dragons, you got elves, you got brawlers, you got magic, all kinds of really dope ideas intertwined in a story that's the true definition of adventurous. It's a great anime. So I watched this anime a while back. I was really excited about watching older animes. Stuff from the 90s, early 2000s, and a little bit of the 80s, but mostly the 90s. And this anime stood out head and shoulders over the rest. Like I said, it's beautifully hand-drawn. The main character is stereotypical cookie cutter, but still so enjoyable to follow and to learn about. His character is one of those characters that's really gung-ho, ready to face danger, ready to be the first one to fight and get beat up, but triumphs with the help of his friends and with the help of that courage. He's really that Link. He's really Link from Legend of Zelda, basically. Except Link has a personality where he's pretty mature. I mean, unless you're counting Wind Waker Link, but even to me, Wind Waker Link was somewhat mature because when his sister was kidnapped, he immediately stood up to action, didn't underestimate his enemy. He was just ready to fight, but he was also ready to get stronger to fight. This main character, Parm, I think that's how you say his name, didn't know what he needed, didn't care, just wanted to fight. Didn't have the skills, but I could still win because my willpower. And he was kind of right. The willpower alone was strong enough. But we're not talking about the anime, we're talking about the manga. But in order to fully enjoy this manga, I really feel like you should watch the anime. But I still want you to enjoy this manga. I'd say as a person, a casual, just reading this manga alone, it's a very well written story, but there's going to be callbacks to the anime that you really don't have a lot of source material to cling to. I believe there was a manga for the original Record of Lodoss War. It's very hard to find, pretty old, a little obscure. The anime is a little bit easier to find. I don't remember exactly where you can watch it at legally, but it should be somewhere. You can find clips of it on YouTube as well. Very, very old, but very gold anime. Let me tell you a little bit about the story, and then we'll segue into the manga. So in the story, you got Parm, who, like I said, is a gung-ho fighter, and he wants to save his kingdom, save all of Lodoss from dragons, demons, dark sorcery, just all evil that threatened mankind's peaceful existence. And there was also a catch where if you do this thing and gather these things, there will be peace for centuries. Parm wasn't falling for it, but the rest of the humans really wanted peace and they seemed a little desperate, so they went for it. So Parm fought for that dream, even though he just didn't necessarily believe it was true. It was too good to be true. Parm is smart in that regard. Now, the thing that makes it Dungeons and Dragons, besides the obvious dragons in the story, is the fact that Parm didn't do this alone. Now in Zelda, I keep comparing it to Zelda. Zelda's fire, Zelda's great. The thing that makes it different is, even though there's a character in one of the older Zeldas that says, "Don't go alone, here, take this," In the case of Record of Lodoss War, he doesn't go alone. He has friends and he has a weapon. And for the many different aspects of evil and the different directions of evil, he really needed a whole squad. And on that squad, one of my favorite characters is the eternal, what do you call her? The eternal elf, the high elf, the eternal maiden. I can't remember her name right now. And I love this character so much, but she's a high elf. We'll say that until I remember her name. Deedlit. Deedlit, that's her name. Put some respect on her name. She's awesome. So she joins the party. She's kind of immature, but it's like her immaturity is mirroring our main character, Parm's. Because by herself, she's pretty peaceful. She's pretty chill. Parm can be hot-headed, and that kind of pisses off Deedlit. But Deedlit is like such an endearing character, such a wise character, yet sprinkle a little bit of immaturity on top. Just such a fun character. And then you have other characters, I don't remember their names, but they're very important and they're really cool. It's been a while since I watched the anime. But you got a really strong buff dude, you got a priest, you got a whole bunch of cool characters on this squad. I think it's like 5 people. And they're all fighting beside Parm and Deedlit to bring peace and prosperity and safety to Lodoss. And there's like dark elves, amazing dark elves, absolutely beautiful characters. And then you have other dark forces that are, you know, trying to, I wouldn't say rule the world, but change the world and mold it into their vision, which I think is a really cool but old school and played out, you know, kind of storyline where it's like, I'm going to make the world my own. But I like that a lot more than I'm going to rule the world. Because a lot of characters, they'll say they want to rule the world, but if you gave them the opportunity, they wouldn't know what to do with the world. But these characters want to reshape the world, in a sense, destroy everything on the world and just start over, rebuild it. Or take everything that's here, make it the opposite, or just make it a little different. I kind of like that notion. It's played out, but it usually has a really good set of villains. And this story has great villains. So yeah, basically, Deedlit and the gang, they all succeed, kind of happily ever after. Parm becomes a knight. At first, he's like a scrawny kid. He grows up to be a knight. He becomes a legend. He's awesome. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Dope. In this story, which is Record of Lodoss War, Crown of the Covenant, Deedlit, the GOAT. I really like the art for these mangas. I'll show you all the covers. I've only read 1 volume, as I said, but you know, there's no nudity or anything crazy in these stories, but they're all wrapped up, and I think it's because they're exclusives from Barnes & Noble. I don't know any other versions of this manga. I just know this version, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. But yeah, this is it. This is by Udon. This isn't really a manga company that I frequent, but I do have a few. I think Kill la Kill is also done by Udon, which is pretty cool. Before I get into any more of the story, I'll show you some art. I like the art a lot in this. Very nice character designs, nice thick bold lines, great shading. I really like this art style. And it's really interesting because when I get to the back of the first volume, the guy's like, you know, I don't know if I really captured the characters, I'm not sure. Bro, you did a great job with the character design. It's not exactly like the anime, but that's what I like about it. It's your unique take, and it's good. It really works, so kudos to you. That's some of the art. Let's talk a little bit more about what I read in this first volume. Alright, so we got our main character. At first, it was a little... Actually, no, I take that back. This entire first volume was just... It wasn't always action, 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 but it just locked in and kept going. Like, it never had a moment that was too dull that made me want to stop reading. It's definitely a page turner. It's actually really fun to read. It starts off with our main character. I forgot his name. Definitely wasn't a memorable name for me, but his character is memorable. And he's running, being chased by some people, and then you find out that he actually lured them. He wanted to be chased by them to get to a certain area to have this is so crazy. So I'm thinking he's gonna fight all these dudes, and I'm like, all right, we're just gonna make this character OP. I'm not really happy about that, but he is a descendant of Parm, so whatever, cool. No, they they pulled a fast one on me. They did something really cool. He's running from these people. These people are like, we're gonna capture you, we're gonna harm you, we're gonna do yada yada yada. And he's running. And he's like, you shouldn't break the laws, you shouldn't break the laws. And I'm like, is this a Goody Two Shoes character? Is this a character that is, about principle and about morals? And I don't know what this character is about, but he's kind of cool. And he's running, and then he stops. And he's like, end of the line. And he's like, nah, we just getting started. Everybody draw your weapons. And all the citizens in the area square up against this group. I was shook. I was like, oh, the entire neighborhood is about to start scrapping, start fighting. They had their swords, they had their bow and arrows. You thought you had me surrounded. I got you surrounded. My entire city is on your head. I really like that. That was dope. And then after all that action, I'm thinking, all right, that's a cool beginning. It wrote me in, but now it's gonna die down. No, we go to our main character. He's got a few brothers and a few sisters. They all sit down and start talking about war, strategies, who's gonna do what. They got different paths. One brother, I'm gonna be a traitor, but I'm not gonna be a traitor because I hate all of you or because I don't care about my city. I'm gonna infiltrate the enemy from the inside, but you're gonna have to make it believable. You're gonna have to fight me one day. One of us may even have to kill each other if it comes down to it. That was intense. The other characters, like our older brother doesn't want to be king, so I'm gonna have to step up and take the role. Other character, our main character, is like, well, I gotta uphold the law. I wanna make sure that we keep our values and everything like that. And the only thing that can help me do that right now is Deedlit. But he didn't say Deedlit at first. He said the Eternal Maiden. And I'm like, who's that? Later on, it's revealed that he's looking for Deedlit. And basically, there's an actual crown for each of the kings in the area. And with those crowns, it's like a magic-based item that doesn't allow them to war with each other. So in theory, we're keeping the peace. But there's like some weird strings attached that causes war to happen anyway, but just in a different way. The guy that's supposed to be a bad guy actually has really great ideas, so it makes it interesting. It's not black and white. There's a lot of gray areas. It's morally gray how the bad guy is like, I'm gonna start a war, and this war is gonna end all of the wars. Some people need to die, so everybody doesn't die. And I'm like, on paper that makes sense, but I kind of wish that nobody had to die. I kind of wish that there need be no bloodshed. So it's captivating. It's a great story, great characters. I had a really good time reading it. If you haven't watched the anime and you want to read it, I think it's still a great read on its own. Standalone, it's a great read. But when you get the callbacks to Deedlit and you get the callbacks to the legendary hero Parm, so the city or the area is called Marmo. Marmo didn't exist. Parmo was like the beginning, or Parm was the beginning of Marmo, and his legend rolls into that, story and that history. So it's important, but it's not make or break. But if you can, read the manga. But if you really can, go ahead and watch that anime. Like I said, if you're into Dungeons and Dragons, there's different classes, there's different like ranks, there's kingdoms. It's good. Like, this is a really good tactical manga, tactical story, tactical anime. Everybody has their job. Everybody's choosing their own paths. And what I really like to end this off is the storytelling. Not just what the story entails, but how it's told. We got our main character, trying to find the Eternal Maiden. We got the Eternal Maiden story. That's one branch. But it's like each brother has their own story. And in this volume, you get the main character, trying to find Deedlit. And then you have the other character who's, becoming a traitor. And then you have a little snippet of the character that's going to become king, the brother. And then you have the sister who's kind of just rolling with it. I wonder what, her plans are, because she's just chilling. I'm a little afraid because this manga only has 3 volumes and there's a lot of story built up. I'm wondering if they're going to cut corners or if something's going to get rushed, just not have enough detail to fully develop. But I have high hopes. Just reading the first volume, I had a really good time. And I hope you do too. Thank you once again for checking out another video. I know I've been doing manga after manga after manga. We'll switch it up soon. I've been collecting other things and doing other things and having fun, and I want to share that with the channel. So once again, thank you so much for listening to me ramble, checking out another video. If you haven't already, click that subscribe, check out that notification bell if you feel like it. That helps me out a lot. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That'd be lovely. And until next time, peace.